So I wanted to talk a little bit. All right. A couple days ago, I believe 3 days ago now, I want to say. Maybe four. Whatever. Very recently, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings by Marvel Studios released. I watched that movie day one. Let me tell you, let me tell you, that movie is fantastic. I can't stop talking about that movie. I've talked about that movie so much as of late. And I could talk about it all day. I've seen that movie 3 times now, and it never gets old. It never gets old, man. I love that movie. And I feel like, to be honest, when the movie was first releasing, I was very worried that, the character's not, it's not the world's most popular character. Any Marvel comic fan can tell you he's not the world's most popular character. Is he super wildly obscure like some? No. But is he very forefront? No. He's very much like kind of lost in the back somewhere. But this movie I think is excellent. I think this could really push this character to be kind of a household name. I think this could play out really well. But I just want to talk a little bit about what made this movie really good, in my personal opinion. I want to talk about, um, first off, the cast is excellent. Everyone in the cast: Simu Liu, Aquafina, uh, Tony Leung, obviously. Everyone in the cast was fantastic, and I do personally think Simu is an exceptional actor here. I think he fits the role beautifully. I think going forward, he could be a really good face for the MCU. Obviously, not like the lead. I'm just being real. It's probably gonna be Spider Man. It's Spider Man. Let's be honest. But he could be one of the main forefronts of the MCU going forward. I could see it. I could believe it. It's really good. I think the plot for this movie, the storyline, is really good. It gets you really invested. If you are into Asian culture and different things like that, martial arts, and just that type of beauty, that type of world, I think you're really gonna like this movie. I think you're really gonna like the story because it focuses on that type of element a lot. It really leans into that. The relationship between Shang-Chi and his father. If you don't know the story from the trailers or haven't seen the movie or have been told about the movie, his father is, the Mandarin, the leader of the Ten Rings. We've heard his name before between Iron Man 3 and his men that captured Tony Stark in Iron Man 1. The relationship between him and his father is very interesting, and I appreciate the way it played out. It's not the stereotypical relationship that you would expect in this type of movie. And I know that can vary widely, but I don't really want to spoil everything. But it's more, there's a lot more to their relationship. There's a lot deeper than it seems in the exterior, and you can understand Shang Chi's opinion of his father, his view of his father, very easily. But you'll see his father in various different lights throughout that movie for different reasons, and I think it's really cool. I also really, and this is something that I really liked. I appreciate the way the story plays out with Shang Chi and his sister in the movie. A lot of movies do this, and you know what? I'll take that back. It's not even just movies; it's a lot of franchises, whether it's video games, books, novels, shows, movies, anything in media in general. Always tends to make siblings not get along very well. There's only a few exceptions where they do get along, but for the most part, media tends to make them not get along. I appreciate when this movie has them have their differences, but they still connect. You don't have to be two identical puzzle pieces to not be opposing puzzle pieces, if you understand what I'm saying. Like they do match. The puzzle pieces can fit, but I appreciate the way the characterization is done for uh a sibling relationship in this movie. It's really pleasant to see on screen, and you can, once again, as with Shang and his father, you can understand the two, not opposing, but two different views of the world between these two characters. Obviously, I already talked about the characters. Shang-Chi, excellent. I love the way he's portrayed in this movie. Um, he is portrayed differently from how he is in the comics, just being straightforward. He's very different from how he is in the comics. In the comics, and I'm not super familiar with Shang-Chi's comics, I will be 100% honest. But from what I'm aware, he's a bit more serious and mentally at peace most of the time anyway. Uh Kind of like the old wise man, but in a young person's body, I would say. In this movie, he's not quite there yet. He's enjoying his life, but also trying to figure out where he wants to be in things, where he feels he should be in things. His friend Katie, played by Aquafina, very entertaining. Uh, some people, it varies from person to person. Some people don't like the quirky and kind of funny best friend, stuff like that. I quite like those types of characters. I think they add a little bit of a lighthearted element to the story that might be super extremely serious and dark, and that's fine. That's fine too. There's nothing wrong with darker movies, but I quite like characters like that. They add a lighter element to a fun element that I think a lot of people can enjoy. But she also has her own character arc kind of going through the movie, and I think it's really fun to watch that as well. Now, the part that stands out the most for this movie, easily the most, the movie's fight choreography. The fight choreography in this movie is fantastic. That's all I need to say. It's in my personal opinion, and I know a lot of people say Captain America Winter Soldier's fight choreography is the best in the MCU. I could agree with that. I could agree with that. That's not my favorite movie. Not even my favorite Captain America movie, to be honest. But I do agree with it. It probably has the best fight choreography in the whole MCU. This movie, in my personal opinion, is at the very least on par with that. I think it's actually a little bit better in terms of fight choreography, but at the very least, it's on par, and that's really really good. It feels fresh and new, but it still reminds you in places that it's a Marvel movie, but the action itself feels different from the rest of the movies. It feels really good. The CGI is also really good in this movie. As with most Marvel movies, it's very rare that Marvel Studios misses with their CGI. Too bad. There's only a couple of cases. Only a couple. You guys already probably know the ones I'm referring to. But but um like the CGI in this movie is really good. It's not, in my opinion, it's not overused CGI. It's done properly for this type of movie. Right places, right time. And I think it's really, really beautiful, really nice to see. Main thing that made me super happy about this movie going forward after release is that the reception for it has been really, really good. And I think that's a really good win for this movie and this type of movie. Obviously, during the current times with COVID, not many movies are going to be breaking $1 billion anymore. That's just fact. It's just the way it is right now. But it's nice to see this movie is not only doing pretty well financially, but uh reception wise, in terms of reviews, I believe critic score on Rotten Tomatoes is still 92%. And as far as I'm aware, the audience score is still 98%. For a little bit, it was actually 99%. I just recently learned from Grace Randolph. But 98%, that is fantastic. I am so happy people are loving this movie because I was very, very, very excited for this one. I was excited for something fresh, new, something to explore Asian culture in Marvel, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Because I'm so entertained by the idea of this whole culture, this whole element being in the same universe as like Spider-Man and Captain America and stuff like that. There's this whole unexplored element that's got its own beauty to it, its own interest in it, its own totally different side perspective to it. And that can all mesh together in its own unique way. And I'm super happy people see it that way too. It reminds me of when like Doctor Strange and Black Panther first came out, how when people saw it, they were really just blown away. That's kind of how it always is when they introduce these movies that kind of explore like a totally different side of things, like Guardians, uh, Doctor Strange, Black Panther, and now Shang-Chi as well. So I think this movie is fantastic. If you are a person that feels comfortable with things, the current situation, and going out, then I'd highly recommend, if you're going to go to the theaters and watch a movie, check this one out. If not, this movie will apparently, according to Disney, will be on Disney Plus 45 days after release. I believe that's like October 15th, I want to say. No, it's October, it's 18th. I believe it's October 18th. Yeah, I think it's October 18th. I'd highly recommend watching it one of the two ways. Just watch it with friends, family, by yourself. Doesn't matter. I think you're gonna love it. Thank you guys for watching. Comment down below what you think. If you want to see more reviews and stuff like that, blah blah blah. Be sure to like the video and be sure to subscribe. I'm gonna be posting more content like this going forward. A lot more Marvel, DC, Dragon Ball stuff. This is my main now. And yeah, see you guys later. Peace.